think such record-breaking environmental changes are happening all around the globe? Is it natural or man-made? Let us find out. The IPCC Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, set up by World Meteorological Organization and UNEP, United Nations Environment Programme, has released the first part of its sixth assessment report, which stated that the world is on the track for global temperature rise by at least 2.7 degrees Celsius by the year 2100, and it is called Code Red for Humanity. It also stated that under a very high greenhouse gases emission scenario, the world could get warmer up by 5.7 degrees Celsius between the year 2081 and 2100. Even under the lowest emission scenario, the warming could be as high as 1.8 degrees Celsius in the same time period. These figures seem normal, right? But these are not. Let's understand this by this graph. In the last 100 years, the temperature of Earth has risen by 0.7 degrees Celsius. Now you can imagine what 2.7 degrees would do in just 79 years. Let's understand what are greenhouse gases emissions, how it affects our environment. A greenhouse gas is a gas that basically increases the temperature of the Earth. It acts as a blanket over the Earth which traps the heat coming from the sun to the Earth. Example of such gases are carbon dioxide, water vapor, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, etc. Do you know the name of chlorofluorocarbon gas which is released in almost every home? If yes, comment down below. To make it more understandable, have a look on this small animation. When heat of the sun reaches the earth, it is reflected back to the space, but some of it gets trapped in the earth due to the layer of greenhouse gases and keeping earth warm enough to make life possible. When greenhouse gases are released in excess, the layer gets thick which traps more heat in the earth, making it difficult to reflect back to the space, thus leading to high increase in temperature of the earth. It is called global warming. These gases are important for us, as without those the temperature of our earth would be minus 18 degrees Celsius, which would make impossible for us to live. Then where is the problem? Excess of anything is always harmful. This increase in temperature impacts our climate negatively. It leads to extreme heat, melting of glaciers, which increases the level of sea, thus floods and intense rainfall. Scattered monsoon activities visible this year is the result of this climate change. Floods at some places and drought at some other. These are induced by us, the humans. We are responsible for this. Are we humans only responsible for this? Of course. The percentage of involvement is 95% of humans and 5% of nature. Now the question is, how can we avoid this? Can we change this? Can we completely stop greenhouse gases emissions? No, we cannot completely stop the emission, but we can avoid this. What governments and corporates can do is work mutually on the points such as phasing out HFCs, hydrofluorocarbon gases, replacing them with more sustainable options, renewable energy production such as solar, wind, hydro, etc. Working on technologies that cut emissions, and many more. But we won't talk much about what government organizations can do. We will talk about what we individuals can do at our level to mitigate this problem. Some of you must be wondering why we would take action or why we need to take care about the climate change as such. We have to take actions because the situation is alarming. We all can see some or other climate problems where we live. If you are in Maharashtra, you may have either faced floods or drought. If you are in Odisha, you may have faced the brutality of the recent cyclone, which is Amphan. If you are in Uttarakhand, you are seeing the cloud burst every other month. And the same situations go with western and the southern states. According to a report by Internal Displacement Monitoring Center, a record of 55 million people in the total had been forced to move at the end of 2020 due to extreme weather events. This means we may also have to leave our places where we live if the situation goes worse. So we must take actions now. Small initiatives can make up big changes. Here are some actions we can take at the individual level. Reducing our carbon footprint. We as individuals can reduce our carbon footprint, which is leading to a rise in the temperature of the earth. Opt for carpooling instead of using your private vehicle for commutation to offices, as it will reduce the pollution and will reduce your footprint. Use public transports as much as possible. Save power when not in use, switching off lights and fans when nobody is in the room. Teach your younger ones all these so that the good habits are built up early. These little steps may seem normal, but we all have heard the saying, every single drop counts to fill an ocean. Planting trees. This is the most basic step we are taught every day. The most of us fail to follow. Planting trees not only reduces the pollution but also provides greenery, which takes us closer to the nature, makes us feel good and relieves stress. One small step in this regard would be to gift a small plant or a sapling or any kind of indoor plant to your loved ones whenever you meet them or on any special occasion. Eating plant-rich diets. Embracing a plant-based or plant-rich diet can make a big difference not only in the environment but also in your health. The fossil fuel demands that are associated with animal transportation, deforestation, emissions by killing animals make up a large chunk of global greenhouse gases emission. A research shows that if just 50% of the world population adopt a vegan diet by 2050, we could avoid 65 gigatons of greenhouse gases emissions. Using sustainable options in daily life. We can avoid using products which pollute our earth such as plastics, etc. And instead switch to more sustainable options in our daily life, such as switching to electric vehicles, regular heater to solar heater, using biodegradable and recyclable products, etc. Protesting against government policies that impact our climate negatively, such as power projects in hilly areas. Also pressurizing government at the individual level to take action against the climate change. We have to work collectively and individually to save our planet and provide a better life to our upcoming generation. This is it for today. For more such content, keep watching Brainiac Being.